All right, ladies and gents. So today I have an urgency motion in front of the Senate. The urgency motion basically says that the Senate needs to recognize the fact that the Internet Search Engine Online Safety Code, which requires age assurance for account holders on search engine, represents a really unneeded layer of security and digital surveillance dressed up as protecting children. So what's going to happen, ladies and gents, is the government is going, well, the eSafety office is going to require you to provide ID if you want to log into a search engine. Why is that bad? Well, it's tracking, it's surveillance, it's government, it's big tech prying into your private life. So if you want to log into Google, as an example, you must provide your government-approved ID, you must potentially do a facial scan, you must provide who you are to this big tech company in order to log into their product. That's not good. That is not good at all. And they're pretending, in my opinion, pretending that it's about protecting children, but what it's really about is it's about tracking and keeping tabs on you. So this debate is going to be about what I'm going to be saying, that this is not right. Let's see what the Liberal Party does, let's see what Labor does, and let's see what the Greens do.
The Senate will now consider the proposal from Senator Babiet, which is also shown at item 14 on today's order of business. Is consideration of the proposal supported? It is. With the concurrence of the Senate, the clerk will set the clock in line with the informal arrangements made by the whips. I call Senator Babiet.
Thank you, Acting Deputy President. Now, this urgency motion, what does it do? It seeks to defend a fundamental right of the Australian people, the right to privacy. The privacy implications of the Internet Search Engine Services Online Safety Code are nothing short of, staggering. That's what it is. It is alarming that the government remains silent, leaving it to me to stand here against the steady advance of the surveillance state. First, it was a social media ban for under 16, followed by a YouTube ban, both of which require mandatory IDs for all users of all ages. Now, the focus has shifted to search engines. What comes next? This government has consistently failed to defend Australians' civil liberties. Week after week, we see new efforts in this place to erode our right to privacy and our personal freedom online. Let me say from the outset that protecting children online is a moral imperative. No one in this chamber is going to question that. Measures like safe search filters for minors, better parental controls, and restricting harmful content are, of course, welcome, but let's not kid ourselves. This is not about protecting children. It is about building a surveillance infrastructure under the cover of safety. Now, under this new code, Australians who are logged into search engines like Google, Microsoft, and others will be required to undergo age assurance. That's not a polite, how old are you at the cinema? That's government ID checks. That's biometrics scanning. That's data mining. Now, we're rapidly marching towards a society where privacy online is not just frowned upon, but perhaps it's going to become illegal. That's what's going on. Imagine this, your face, your ID, your personal browsing history, all linked, logged and stored in the name of keeping kids safe. But I ask you this, who is keeping citizens safe from this creeping authoritarianism disguised as policy? Now, let's be clear. Most Australians are already deeply embedded in these platforms, Gmail, YouTube, Outlook, etc. This is not a niche issue. This affects the vast majority of Australians. Their right to explore the internet freely without, facial recognition or ID uploads, it hangs in the balance. Even more alarming is that this framework wasn't designed by us here in this place. It was co-developed by the tech giants themselves and registered by our eSafety Commissioner, Julie Inman-Grant. Now, this code, for now, it only applies to logged-in users, but we all know it's just the beginning. The slippery slope of Canberra and its bureaucracy is very, very real. Now, I cannot stress enough that we are not, nor do we want to become China or North Korea. We're Australians, that's what we are. And Australians have a right to privacy, to autonomy, and to live free from constant digital scrutiny. Now, the solution to unsafe content online is simply empowering parents, not expanding government-backed surveillance. This code continues in its current form. It's going to set a dangerous precedent that everyone's search history, browsing behaviour and identity can be monitored so long as it's done under the label of safety. It is a slippery slope, like I said before. No good will come of this. Yes, we've got to protect kids online, but not by sacrificing the freedoms of every Australian adult in the process. The code's got to be amended. We've got to remove the age assurance requirement and just restore some common sense before the only thing that's going to be safe online is big tech's grip on all of our lives. To the Greens, I say thank you for supporting my motion in defence of privacy and against creeping surveillance. I never thought I'd say that, but thank you. Hell must have frozen over. To the Liberal Party, your We Believe statement says that you support the inalienable rights and freedoms of all people. Here is your chance to show it. Stand on the right side of history and join me in defending the Australian people. All senators support my motion, but let's see what the Libs do.
This code does entail significant digital surveillance dressed up as child protection. And it won't achieve the child protection goals. It bypassed Parliament. It's ignored the evidence, some of it gathered by the government's own trial, and will harm people that it claims to protect.
I commend Senator Babet for putting this urgency motion forward. When the government announces changes like the Internet Search Engine Services Online Safety Code or the social media ban for under 16s, they often call them world-first changes. Why is it that we always seem to have dubious privilege of leading the world in these changes? Why is it that it's our government who does things without thinking it through? That's because no other country on earth thinks these are good ideas.
The remit of the eSafety Commissioner, without adequate safeguards, is getting out of hand. And we must pause to consider this. Ensuring every adult logs into an account to browse the internet is taking the eSafety Commissioner's power to a new level, which must be debated and scrutinised further.
And I thank Senator Babet for this motion, which One Nation supports. The only way to establish age is with biometric data, a face scan with photo ID. As I've already spoken about, age verification for holding an account does not work without continuous facial scanning to ensure the person who signed into the browser is still the person using it.
What is the real story here? Well, the corporate sector and the administrative state have lost control of the narrative. They've lost control of the media cycle, and they're driven by the fear that the internet and social media platforms are now empowering populist and alternative views which they regard simply as unhelpful. Just sounds like free speech to me.
Time for the debate has expired. The question is that the motion moved by Senator Babet be agreed to. Those of that opinion say aye. Against say no. The noes have it. Division required. Ring the bells for 4 minutes.
Is that the matter of urgency be moved by Senator Babet be agreed to. The ayes shall move to the right of the chair. The noes to the left. I appoint Senator McGrath as teller for the ayes and Senator Darnaman as teller for the noes. Order. There being 38 ayes and 25 noes, the matter is resolved in the affirmative.